All right, y'all. Today we are ranking common hobbies. Y'all, it's early in the morning. I'm drinking coffee. Normally I do these late at night after I've had quite a few to drink. Not today, so I'm gonna rank these based on how fun, interesting, or cool I think they are. And we're gonna get into it without any further bullshit. So here we go. First on the list, we got off-roading. I've done quite a bit of off-roading as a hobby when I was a teen into my early 20s. It was a lot of fun. Mostly ATV or four-wheeler, whatever you call them where you at. We call them four-wheelers. So mostly four-wheeler riding and mud riding, right? Mostly. Mud bogging, big dog. And it can be so fun, dude. Like people who don't see the appeal of mud riding or mud bogging, they probably have never been because it's just something about the challenge of your skills, right? Of getting into a hole, just sludge and mud, and being able to get out on the other side. It's something about it. Super fun. It's a challenge. I mean, it's also fun to work on your ATVs or your trucks or all that stuff. You know, jack them up, put the best tires on them and stuff. Now, for me, we didn't have a whole lot of money when I was 18, saved up enough and bought me a little 95 single cab Ford F-150 with a straight six in that bitch, big dog. And I had some super swampers on there. And it was nice. It wasn't jacked up or nothing like that, but it would do some it would do some off-roading. It was fun, a lot of fun. And I had all I had for a four-wheeler was a Foreman 500, a Honda. Snorkel the bitch out. You know how it is. And shit, I'd make it through a lot of shit that like the big Can-Ams and all that stuff wouldn't make it through. But off-roading for a hobby, I do think it's pretty fun. And if you've never tried it, give it a shot. And also, y'all, off-roading doesn't necessarily just mean mud bogging. I mean, I have done regular off-roading too. I know all about off-roading. Anyway, we're going to put it in S tier because it is a really fun hobby to me because I've done it, so I know how fun that hobby is firsthand. And let's move on to the next one. We got firearms. This can be a really expensive hobby too. Firearms, dude, if you get into, look, if any of y'all are like me, and I'm sure a lot of y'all are, when I find interest in a new hobby, I become obsessed with this hobby. Like I have issues. When I find something interesting for some reason for like the next 2-3 months straight, it's all I can think about. It's all I can focus on. And I become super obsessed, hyper focused on it. Can't do nothing else but that mostly. And that is a big problem. But anyway, firearms can become a super expensive hobby if you get like that. I got a neighbor that is into firearms right now, and he has a bunch of badass guns, y'all. And as soon as I get me a good camera to do outside YouTube stuff, because I'm poor and all I have is this webcam right now. But as soon as I get a good camera, y'all, we're gonna do some gun tube type of shit. It's gonna be some badass stuff going on. I don't know if I'm gonna put it on this channel or start a new one. Who knows? But we are gonna do some shit like that. I think firearms as a hobby, we gotta put that in S tier, dude, because it's just fucking badass, man. Guns are badass, dude. They're fun to shoot. And not everybody's going to share that opinion, but to me, when guns are used the right way and they're just used, we use them for out here, guns are badass. Moving on from that, we got gym fitness. I have never been a person to go to the gym. I don't know if that's obvious. It's probably obvious. It's got to be obvious. For me, blue collar work was my gym. I feel like I get enough workout at work that I just don't want to go to the gym, right? I don't want to get off of a 12-hour shift and go to the gym. I don't want to go to the gym before work. Now, I know some blue collar dudes who do that. They go after, before. Hey, salute to them, brother. I can't do it, big dog. I just feel like work is enough of a workout. Now, it's not lost on me the importance of going to a gym. I know I need to get in a gym. Me and the wife always talk about the gym stuff she's in and out of gyms all the time. We talk about it a lot and plan on getting into it. But I think gym and fitness, we're going to put that into, I'm going to put it in A. All right. I know it's very important and everybody probably should be going to the gym, but I got to put it in A because to me, you know what? Honestly, this might piss people off, but like I said, this is my opinion. And if your hobby ain't where you think it needs to be, well, tell me in the comments. But I'm gonna put it in B because to me, it just don't seem like it'd be that fun of a hobby. Maybe it can be. I don't know. Let's move on from it. We got golf. I've never really got into golf either. Now, I got uncles that are into golf and stuff like that, and they seem to have a damn good time, dude. And it looks fun to hit a golf course up and do some drinking and just hit some balls. I mean, I like hitting balls. Let me rank that based on how fun I think it would be as a hobby, and I'll put it in A. I can't put it in S because I've never done it. Looking at it from the outside, it looks like it could be fun. We'll put it. Let me know in the comments. Moving on from that, we got watches. Watches to me seems like a weird hobby for people to get into, but there are people that are into watches. I mean, that's all they buy. Stand in line at stores for 2 days to get the next watch that's coming out or some shit, or people with money who buy the what are those called, like Rolexes and stuff like that, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on watches. I don't see the appeal. I don't need a fucking watch. I can either look at my phone to tell the time, or I'll look at the goddamn sun and I'll say, yeah, I think it's about fucking lunch right now, and go open a beer. So for watches, man, I just don't see the appeal myself. I gotta put watches in D tier. It is what it is. Now, I'm sorry, all right? If you into watches, whatever. Moving on from that, we got hiking. I love coffee. It's beer first, then coffee, y'all. I love coffee. Anyway, I don't do a whole lot of hiking unless I'm on vacation, like in the Smoky Mountains or something like that. Then me and the family would do a little hiking. And I like nature. I much rather do the nature stuff, the free shit when I'm on vacation than I would any of the tourism stuff. Tourism shit's expensive. You gotta wait in line a lot. And I like hiking. So when I am hiking, it's kind of a hobby I have that I only do once or twice a year. So could it even be considered a hobby of mine? Probably not. So I gotta put hiking in B tier. Because I don't know, man. Hiking's going in A tier. I love hiking, dude. I could do it a lot more if I had the time. I really could. I love it. We'll move on from that. We got RC cars and planes. Dude, growing up, me and my dad, we got into RC cars and planes. My dad got into building them himself. He would build the planes from the ground up, everything from the little gas-powered motor or electric motor, whatever he would use. He built these big-ass planes, dude. You know, the wings are longer than an adult wingspan and shit, and we'd go around flying these planes, and we had a few cars, some really good cars. Fun hobby. It's something that I'm wanting to get back into, and I'm going to. Me and my son, my little 7-year-old, we've been looking at the little 4x4, I don't know what scale, but the trucks that look real, right? Like they look like real Broncos, or they look like real four-wheel drive trucks. We're going to get into that shit, and it's going to get expensive, man. When I find a hobby I like, I jump all into it. So I know that's going to get expensive, but we're going to get into it here soon. The RC cars and planes, I've been into the hobby before. I know it's fun. I know it's interesting. We're going to put it in A tier. And moving on, we got camping. I used to do a lot of camping when I was little with my grandpa and grandma before she passed away. We would go in an RV or camper, that type of camping, right? Not really tent camping. I've done a little bit of tent camping. Down here in Mississippi, dude, it's hard to tent camp, dude. It's fucking hot down here, dude. It's humid as shit, brother. You won't get no fucking sleep. You'll wake up covered in mosquitoes and all kinds of shit. To tent camp out here, you've got to have all kind of shit. Like, you got to have fucking bug nets. It's crazy. Like, the amount of shit you really got to do to tent camp out here to be somewhat comfortable. And I know maybe tent camping ain't supposed to be comfortable. I don't know. Maybe I'm just air conditioner spoiled and all that. Fuck it. It is what it is. Depending on what kind of camping we're talking about here, I think camping in a camper type of camping, I like it. It's a good hobby. It can be relaxing. It can feel like a mini vacation. You're getting away for a little while, something different. Maybe you're roasting weenies and marshmallows and drinking a shitload of beer, whatever you do when you're camping, dude. It's a good hobby. I'll put it in A. I think it deserves to be there. Moving on from that, we got barbecuing and smoking meat. Now, I'm in and out of this hobby all the time, right? That's something I get into, and I'll be into it for a few weekends, and I'm trying to fucking make my own recipes, and I'm cooking up these big pork loins and stuff like that, and then I get out of it, and then it's just something I'm in and out of. But for people who are in it as a hobby and shit, for a lot of people, it becomes a job. Fuck yeah, dude. Like, I love some barbecue. Barbecue is my favorite food. Anytime the family's wanting to go out to eat and they ask me where we going, shit. We got this local restaurant in our town called Holy Smoke, and it's barbecue. And that's, shit, I'm picking that every time. It's either there or some other barbecue restaurant, and we're going to hit that bitch up. Man, I love barbecue, y'all. So where are we putting barbecue and smoking meat? For dudes who do that, we got to put that in the S tier, man. I love y'all so much. Anyway, moving on from that, we got woodworking. That's a good hobby. My grandpa used to build cabinets and shit, entertainment centers and stuff like that, and he seemed to enjoy it. Now, I've never really got into woodworking a whole lot. I can barely build a fucking square box. I'm talking about barely, dude. I ain't gonna lie. Anytime I'm cutting something or measuring something and it's important, I ain't gonna lie, I got to call somebody to come over and give a second opinion or give some expertise. I am no carpenter. I can do it. Now, don't get me wrong. If something needs to be fixed around here and shit like that, I can do it. But what I'm saying is if I have the time, I will call somebody over to help me out. Somebody who's better at it than me. Because I think woodworking is something that you have to enjoy. And I know woodworking actually probably refers to just building little stuff, I guess. I don't know. Not necessarily being a carpenter or whatever, but it kind of goes hand in hand, right? We'll put woodworking. I think I can put woodworking in. For me, it's got to go in B. Good, fun hobby. I'm sure if you're into it and you can make a lot of money doing it, but for me, it's just got to go in B. It's not something I've ever really been particularly interested in. I've done it a little bit. Me and my dad made a couple tables here and there, and we were going to get into it, but it's just something I can't really just dive into like a lot of the hobbies I get into. So let's move on from that. We got photography. Yeah, I stuttered because I was about to say photography, but I think it's pronounced photography. Who gives a shit? That is a hobby that I got into when I was, believe it or not, 12, 13, 14. My grandma had got me a camera, pretty decent little camera for back then, Christmas one year. And I went around fucking taking pictures of everything, fucking interviewing people. I made little movies and shit. As a matter of fact, that is the reason that I'm in front of the camera today, because my grandma got me that camera, which kind of got me into camera stuff, which got me into interviewing people, whatever. I was a kid, and then recording myself. And so I've been kind of recording myself and talking to cameras since I was like 12, dude. Come to think of it. Yeah. A lot of people don't even know this. I started a TikTok account back in like 2019, and I grew it to 50,000 followers, and I just quit. Because, back then you couldn't really get paid, or you didn't really get paid to do it, or if they was paying, I didn't know about it. And it took a lot of time. Like, I didn't have the time. I was still working in the oil fields at the time, and I just didn't have the time to do it. So it was fun and all, but yeah, I just kind of quit. And then I started TikTok about a year ago. I started another account. Anyway, that's a story for another time. So yeah, photography kind of got me to where I am today, photography as a hobby. And I was not doing any type of professional photography or anything like that. It was just some little goofy me taking pictures of dumb shit, or asking my uncles dumbass questions, or interviewing my friends and stuff like that. And kind of got me to where I am today. That's pretty neat. Pretty neat to think about it like that. But anyway, moving on from that, we got gaming. I think gaming's a good hobby. It's a way to wind down, kind of take yourself out of the real world. It doesn't require a whole lot of skill unless you're doing some competitive gaming, which fuck that. I don't do that shit no more. It just pisses me off. Competitive gaming with all these fucking little 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds and shit, 9-year-olds wiping the floor with me on like Halo or Call of Duty or whatever. But like some single player gaming and all, it's a good way to take yourself out of the real world. Get away from politics most of the time. Stuff like that. It can become expensive. It really can. Or it can be cheap, because you can literally just get an original Xbox or an Xbox 360 or a PlayStation, one of the older consoles, and you can keep it. You could keep the money spending like to a very bare minimum and still have a ton of fun. And we're gonna put it in S tier. Let me go ahead and rank it. We're gonna put gaming in S tier as a hobby. I think it's a good hobby. Gaming may not be everybody's cup of tea. Some people may think it's for kids and you need to grow up. Not me. I still like the game. Fuck it, dude. It's a fun hobby. But anyway, moving on from that, we got fishing. Now, I ain't been fishing in a long time. I can't even lie. But when I did fish, it's fun. I love fishing. It's relaxing. Gives you an excuse to catch one hell of a buzz, dude. If you can't catch no fish, at least you can catch a buzz. It's nice. I know a lot of dudes who like live for fishing. It's all they want to fucking do. And I understand why. I get it. I don't do it all the time, but I do get it. So we'll put fishing, it'll go in A tier because it's a really good hobby. It's a fun hobby. It doesn't have to be all that expensive. It can be. You know what? Fishing goes in S because I don't see a world where I put gaming in S and not fishing. I just don't see a world where that happens. So we got to put fishing in S, man. When you catch a big ass fish, dude, there's no feeling like it in the world. I don't think. And like I said, it can be expensive, but it doesn't have to be, dude. It really don't. So we'll move on from that. We got collecting. I put it on here as a vague term because you can collect any damn thing. Like I could have got specific with Hot Wheels or whatever, but you can collect anything. You can collect fucking coffee makers, dildos. You can collect whatever the hell you want to collect. And I think collecting as a hobby, I think it's a good hobby. Some people may think it's kind of useless, right? Some people look at my little Hot Wheels. I don't have a big, huge Hot Wheel collection, but that's just an example that I'm using that I do in real life. It's like, wow, it's kind of useless. What do you do with them? Well, I just, most of the time, turn my music on and look at them and drink beer. Collecting can be an expensive hobby. If you're like me and you dive all the way into hobbies when you first get into them and the fucking dopamine's there and everything, you can spend a shitload of money on collecting. But for me, we got to put collecting in we'll put it in B tier, y'all. All right. We'll put it in B tier as me ranking it on how fun it is or how interesting and all it is. It's got to go in B tier because it can't go up here with these other ones. And that's a hobby I do myself. So I think that's a fair rating there, B tier. And next we got motorcycles. I know plenty of guys that are into motorcycles. I have a dirt bike, so does that count? There at one time I was like super obsessed with dirt bikes. We went to Birmingham, Alabama to watch them race professionally. You know, Eli Tomac and Ken Roxon and all those guys were there. Jet, all them guys were there. Awesome. Them motherfuckers in real life. Dude, on TV, you can tell they're going fast. But when you watch them on real life, it's unreal how fast some of them dudes are going on these dirt bikes. And I've been on dirt bike tracks, right? And I would consider myself a decent rider. These motherfuckers are crazy. The shit they can do on these bikes is unreal. I'm going to have to put motorcycles as a hobby. I'll put it in A tier. Wait, why did watches move? No, we're putting motorcycles in A tier. It can be really expensive. It can be really cool. Moving on from that, we got hunting. I used to do a shitload of hunting. I mean, obviously, I'm in Mississippi in the South. Hunting's very popular. I used to do a lot of turkey hunting and deer hunting. That's mostly what I did. I mean, I've done all, rabbit hunting, squirrel hunting. Did a lot of squirrel hunting as a 12, 13-year-old or whatever. I think I had my little 20 gauge, a single shot 20 gauge. I was allowed to go off with it by myself when I was about 12 to squirrel hunt. And did a lot of that. And yes, skinned them and ate them. All right. We've never killed an animal and not ate the sumbitch unless there's something wrong with it. Hunting as a hobby, really fun. I know I said there's no other feeling in the world like catching a big fish, but when you're hunting and you kill a decent gobbler or you kill a big ass buck or something like that, actually, it's the same feeling as catching a big fish. And it will have you addicted. Now, I haven't been hunting since about 2019 because hunting was something I done with my pawpaw. He passed away in 2020. We'll move on from that one. And we got cars, project cars, working on cars as a hobby. Pretty fun hobby. I got into that with my dad growing up as a teen. My first truck, which my dad bought for me, I'm not ashamed to admit it. It was a 1980, was it an 83 or an 80? It was an 80 model Chevy truck, single cab. It had a 350 in it, dude. It was a pretty badass truck. The dude we bought it from was building it up to be a drag truck, so it had some things done to the engine and all. It made it pretty wicked. Anyway, we'll put working on cars, project cars. We'll put that in A tier. That's a pretty good hobby. I like that. That is a pretty good hobby. That's the list, y'all. So this is a little different because I'm normally pretty buzzed up when I'm doing these lists. I'm not this morning. I'm just hyped up on coffee. But anyway, if you made it this far, please consider liking, subscribing, ringing the bell. Share this with a friend that ain't gonna watch this shit. Think of as many people as you can who ain't gonna watch this video and send it to them. Also, check the description, y'all, for hats like this one right here. And man, y'all have a good night, day, morning, evening, whatever it is, wherever you are.